Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic, phenomenal day. Happy Monday to you, if there is such a thing. This is a terrible, ridiculous market right now, so there's no other way around it. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat anything, just kind of let you know straight up how things are. Super glad I got filled on my, my spot bag effectively from 100 to 110 range. My $95 entry didn't get filled because we got a wick to like 95.25. But the whole point of me mentioning that is that these aggressive candle wicks that we're seeing right now, it's good to set limit orders for spot bags if that's your thing, right? If you are considering maybe taking a leverage trade, I would recommend not doing so because the market is just so unstable right now. It makes no sense at all to really trade. So I know it's kind of a bummer and hurts to hear that you can't or shouldn't trade, but I'm always going to recommend you do the best things possible, and the best thing right now is to avoid this this absolute disaster. Okay, so let's explain what we want to look at today, though. I think it's still relevant to understand is key level supports, key level resistances, and areas of invalidation. How are we going to invalidate this downtrend? What are we looking for if the price were to pull back as well? Okay, so take a look here quickly to note liquidation from a liquidation standpoint. All local liquidation has been fully swept, even though there wasn't a tremendous amount to the downside. I mentioned that $110 range was the next target. Obviously that got hit and then some, but overall kind of par for the course, folks. I mean, most alts took a massive dump over the weekend. Bitcoin dominance hit like almost 64%. It is absolutely ridiculous for altcoins right now. You're better off just avoiding alts, adding to your spot bag if necessary, and then maybe considering just shorts in general. Because really at this point, if you had listened to my advice on Friday or Saturday, you either didn't trade or you shorted the market over the weekend and you had a lot of success. So to those who sent the direct messages recently, thank you so much for that feedback. I'm glad it worked out well for you. But once more, folks, best trade is no trade. That's generally the concept. I missed out on quite a few good opportunities that I was planning to take, waiting for just a slightly higher price point. What, 84,500 for Bitcoin? We missed that by like $100. Solana, I wanted to short as well. I think it was in like the 120s, and we've missed that opportunity too. So there's a lot of reasons why it's okay to just kind of sit on the sidelines and not risk anything in this market. Liquidation delta is super high to the downside, about 2 billion. It was at its highest point about 4 billion. So that's cut in half in the last couple of hours. And of course, most folks are buying the dips right now. Okay, not to say you shouldn't. That's okay to do so. I'm doing so as well, but I'm not taking any leverage trades. So just friendly advice. I think steering clear of leverage for a couple of days would probably be a good idea, especially in these situations here, because you really don't know where the bottom or top is. You're literally gambling every time you enter the market. So that's kind of where we're at there. 117 is a local point of control. If the price were to recover back up to that area, we can expect some resistance between 117 and 125. That's that local resistance range. And that's based on volume, folks. Not always a guarantee, but it's definitely something that's relevant and good to understand. So taking a look at the daily time frame here, we're under all moving averages. There's nothing bullish here. In fact, let's take a quick look at the weekly to be a little bit more on the safe side so we get a bit more of a macro understanding here. So ever since we've been in the range of, let's just kind of Let's take the last, 2.5 years of trading. We can see if we exclude this local bottom here at about $25, where that's obviously, kind of a heavy concentration of volume. We can see the majority of local volume here, or within the last 2 years roughly, is $143. So we're under that resistance. That is effectively a resistance range for us. So if we start breaking bullish, we break our short-term trend. Bitcoin looks like it's getting back on track in the 90K range, maybe even 80s. If we see Solana in the 140 to 145 range, we're going to have to expect some resistance because that's where people are going to try to sell their position and essentially get out. That's just a place in which we have the most amount of volume within the last couple of years. Everything else is fairly bearish. The only thing that's potentially positive, not to be construed as bullish, is $95 roughly. That's right where the 200-day SMA is hanging out there. So losing the 200-day SMA for Solana, we've never done that because we don't have enough data to look back any previous timeframes. At this point here, we can recognize that is an important area. Generally positive if you're over that level. Okay. So losing 95, I think would absolutely be problematic for this coin. I don't foresee that happening just because we have a lot of volume in this range, and just generally speaking, that's the $100 mark should be that support range for us based on just psychological support. Okay. Other than that, the daily time frame, to summarize, is complete crap. There's nothing here that's positive. 4-hour time frame reflects very similar behaviors. There's nothing really to note that's going to be like a hidden bullish divergence or some crazy stupid stuff like that you probably hear from some other people. There's no constellations here letting us know you should take a long position. Good news is the price pumped up pretty hard until Trump tweeted again, so we have that, but that means nothing. Okay. Every time we have some type of ray or glimmer of hope, we get some kind of fundamental catalyst to push us right back down. So until somebody can just shut up and stop slowly disassembling the market, we're going to be in a position where we're going to consistently retest these lower highs and keep going down. Right? That's the general consensus. So statistically, you're going to find more favor shorting than you are going to take a long. So I don't recommend any long positions with this coin, and honestly, don't even recommend a short either. I know it's tough. You're watching me for advice. The advice is to not take a trade, and I think any good logical trader right now should be telling you that, because there's no reason whatsoever to take a high risk trade, and everything's high risk because of how volatile the market is. So until that calms down, we start to see this somewhat of a consistency in the volume, then we're not going to be able to see any kind of awesome trading conditions. So I think longs are off the table for a little while. I'm leaning more towards shorts at key level resistances, which we've already seen happen here. But if you see the local bottom at 112, 113, roughly 110, that's the new resistance for us. So hypothetically, price comes up here, we can expect a rejection off the 110 range. Okay, that's kind of the concept. Secondary to that, 117 to 125, based on open interest and local points of control. Okay, so it's kind of the essential, the bare bones there, or the essentials there. Not much else to really report. And I'm sorry, it's not good news. It's just the way it goes. This is how the market is right now. So either deal with it or get out. Right, that's kind of how the crypto market is right now. Taking no prisoners, if you will. All right, folks, be sure to tune in to our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I've got playout charts and all sorts of other important fundamental catalysts. I got some good feedback on our candle statistics. I'm going to try to keep rolling out with that. Basically, just giving you insight on what the odds of success are. And leading into this weekend, by the way, I mentioned that we've seen 13 out of 14 red weekends. And this is official. We had our 13th red weekend for the year. So it's just not great. Okay. All right, folks. Have a good one. Thanks again. Stay positive out there. We'll see you again soon. Take care.